and I started canning over 30 years ago when we moved into a house that had a plum tree, and the plum tree went exploding, and someone in the mother's group of my tiny little nursing baby said, I know how to can, we'll can jam, and so she taught me how to can. Why should you can? You can preserve an abundance of a fruit tree in your yard. You develop a pantry, which is very good for instant food. I give it as gifts. People who ever did a favor for me at work got a jar of jam. Made lots of friends. So what can you can? You can can jam. You can can whole fruits, so like a whole plum, a whole apricot. It's delicious on yogurt. Relish, pickles, fudge, barbecue sauce, lemon curd. I can everything. Ratatouille, everything. 3-bean salad. What do you need? You need jars and lids. You need a canning pot, or any large pot will do. We don't know what these jars are. People are up. You need one. You need one. A funnel and a ladle. Very important to have the ladle. First step, you wash the jars. Run them through the dishwasher, and buy the jars and run them through the dishwasher. And then the next step would be to prep your counter and your workspace. So you actually have to have a place to put all these. You need the cloth to absorb the water. So it actually does. You do need to have a piece of cloth down there. But get everything laid out and ready to go, because once you're done with boiling water, safety first. You need to boil the water in a canner. It takes me over 30 minutes to boil my water. So that's actually why the boiling of the water is very high in the process, because that water takes forever to boil. Then you make the product. So if you're jam, you've got to grind fruit, you boil it. I use Sure Gel that you buy, the Sure Gel, and follow the recipes in the Sure Gel, and sugar. So that's the product there. Pickles, you're going to slice the cucumbers and pour boiling water over them. But you make whatever product you're going to make, ratatouille, whatever it is you're going to make. Boil the jar and lids 10 minutes. So once you've got this thing boiling, you're going to boil the jars. I boil my lids separately in a shallower pan. It's easier to fish them out. This key step, I give you this step for free. Put spoons in the freezer, and then when the jam is ready, test the jam with a very cold spoon. Put it back in the fridge for 10 minutes, and it's make sure you have jam, not syrup. Ask me how I know about that. The jars with this nice little thing, and a ladle. Do not just flip it over and then flip the boiling jam back on your face. Ask me about how I know that. And they both have to be hot. This is physics. You put hot boiling things in a cold jar, it's going to explode. Wipe the trim off to assure that it's going to seal and that it's sanitary and all that good stuff, and you don't have like goop going into your lids. Put your lid on. The lids part, that little rim part, can only be used once. All the rest of the stuff can be used over and over. But the part that has a little bit of rubber on it, you have to throw it out after you open that jar of jam and use it. So when your friend very lovingly gives it all back to you, throw the lid out right in front of her. And you can't reuse that. But you can reuse the rim and the rest of it. And once it's filled, you boil the jars for 10 minutes again. And that gets the rubberized thing to boil and seal. Every now and then they explode, hopefully not. And then you lift out the jars and you put it on the counter, and you will hear this lovely popping sound. And that popping sound is the jar sealing, okay? And you have to test them. Anything that doesn't seal and can still be used, you just have to refrigerate it. You can't put it on your pantry shelf. Happily, one of the ones we did today did not seal, so I can actually give you an example of that. Label and datum. I used to have cutesy little labels. Now I just write it on the lid. So it's just very fast and easy to Sharpie it onto the lid, but you do need to know what the heck you made, because you'll forget. Dating is important because whereas it will last forever and you can eat it forever, it does denigrate. And so I don't want to really eat 3-year-old jam. Just because I have new jam, why would I eat old jam? And then, you have a stash, and it's like instant food. Like if you have 3-bean salad and you have nothing for dinner, then you go to your pantry and you eat 3-bean salad. And I brought tasters.
Yeah. Wow. Where's the presentation?
You'd be surprised how
I love
many
it.
of them is. You can introduce her now.
Yeah, so I forgot to introduce Carrielynn because I'm a travel host. So Carrielynn Carrielynn is a wonderful human who has been in the Synapse Synopsis community for quite a while and has already presented in the past. She lives in Mountain View, is an avid traveler. She went to India on a bird watching trip recently, which someone else presented on the Synapse Synopsis a few months ago. Just came back from DC, where she was on a family trip with how many people? 13?
We are a family of 13, and then we added his sisters, which made us 17.
A big number.
Happy.
Oh,
And cans, and has just talked to us about it.
So if you care, this one sealed and this one did not. So it was a lovely demo, completely by accident. So, you know, if you care to feel the difference, but you do have to tap to make sure they're actually sealed, you know, or you're going to and actually, if it's got enough sugar in it, it's really not going to like rot, but it will, you'll get a layer of mold. Which you can decide to eat or not eat, but generally. I mean, a little man at church.
Am I opening all these?
Yeah.
Okay, the trouble with writing them on the top is you don't know what you're eating, but you'll love it all.
Yeah.
There's apple butter and
Plum.
plum jam. Don't eat too much of that. That's my favorite. I'd rather take that home.
Yeah.
You know that's gonna make that disappear.
yeah.
Endorsement.
Gone.
Got it.
And this is persimmon pineapple.
Which is, yeah. Someone,
Also good.
I never
Don't eat much
used
of
the
that.
persimmons on my tree, and then we had a little old lady who took the persimmons off my tree and brought back a jar of persimmon pineapple jam, and when you add the pineapple to it, I was like, yeah, you're going to be getting just a few less persimmons next year.
Goes on there. I'll make a 2-plate thing, and we'll
Well,
do.
people may or may not want to test those, but anyway.
Oh, the barbecue sauce? Probably
yeah.
don't want the barbecue
No, it's
sauce.
not. No, the barbecue sauce was for demo of
Oh, okay.
the fact that it didn't.
Okay.
can.
This is staying here.
So, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So, questions?
Can you talk more about the ways that it fails and why that happens? I'm super curious.
So what?
So like, why did the one not seal? Like what?
Oh, so probably the lid. I don't know, but the lid could have been old, so that the rubber. I guess in there I have a. Here's the lid. So this is what they look like. They're rubbery.
Yeah.
So somewhere over time, the rubber has disintegrated. People give me a lot of their tanning supplies. People find them at yard sales and just like buy them and hand them to me and stuff. So very likely that's just an old lid.
Yeah.
I don't reuse them, but it's possible that it was in someone's garage sale, or it's also possible it's from the store and it just wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
But you know, the main.
Or we left something on, didn't clean the rim off. You don't clean the rim off properly, which I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
But if you don't do that properly, sometimes it won't seal.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, it's not really a crisis, but you just don't want to put it on the pantry.
And the failure rate is very small.
Every now and then, if I put this in the fridge, it'll then seal, too. This was
Is
just,
that okay?
huh?
If it does that,
Yeah, as
does
long
it
as
mean
it
it's sealed?
seals, well, you know, all is well. We just did this before you guys came. We just canned these here. So, and this was a fail, and I was really happy to see it fail, because don't know.
I'm wondering what makes it explode.
I've never had jam. I don't think I've had jam explode. But I have had pickles explode.
Everything's
know.
got to be hot. I mean, you're dealing with a hot bowl, hot jar, and a hot product going
Boiling
into it. It
liquid
all
on
has to
the
be hot.
pickles.
You'll blow things up. And then you're putting in boiling water. So if any of those things get cold, you might be putting a very hot thing in a cold thing in the boiling water. So you need to
Okay.
keep it rolling.
I was remembering about giving them space in the when you're boiling them too. There's racks you can drop in so that they all have their own space, but if you put too many in there and they're boiling away too close to each other, they can smack into each other and might explode.
Yeah.
Right? Like inside the actual when you're trying to.
We have been known
So
to
they have
overlap.
racks in there, or you just don't.
Yeah.
That was me.
That
We
was
meaning
Look who's we. Yeah.
It has been, the pickles have occasionally. It doesn't explode like as in all over your ceiling and in your eye, but then if you've got one broken jar of jam in your canner, you now have oozing sugary stuff up against all your other jars.
Then you have to wash them all off.
These things happen in life, but hopefully rarely.
What makes that canning pot special? You said you could substitute it for anything. It's just
Yeah, it's just big. It's very big. And I think if you got into doing the quart size, then obviously you don't have a spaghetti pot big enough for the quart size ones. So if you do like jars of whole fruit, spaghetti sauce. I was really hoping to have enough tomatoes for spaghetti sauce this year. It's not looking good. I planted 35 plants of tomatoes and I don't have tomatoes yet. But so it's summer.
I've found that the dishwasher, if it's really hot, often works just as well. For the big jars, you can just put them in, or even the small jars, I just put them in the dishwasher
Oh, and
instead of boiling.
I've never boiled a jar.
It makes the whole thing way simpler and quicker.
oh, that's good too.
And I don't boil them afterwards either, and I've never had a problem.
You don't boil them afterwards.
No.
And you still here?
Unconventional. Very unconventional.
And your jam is so
We can't
good.
support that. We
And
can't.
I have a testimonial over there.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
I eat all sorts of
What's in your pantry right now?
What's in my pantry right now? Didn't you take a picture of my
It's in there.
pantry?
It's in slide something.
Yeah.
That was
What's in my pantry is always, there's
No,
always.
no, not this one. Not that one. That
There's
would
always
be nice.
apple, I've done apple butter every fall for 35 years. Plum, always. He goes to a jar
There, they
of
can't see it there. That's
Yeah.
our shelf.
He goes to a jar of plums, other things. This is lemon curd, which shouldn't technically be canned. I think it's because it's got like butter or whatever. But it cans beautifully, and it's wonderful to have in the pantry when you want to have a tea party, and you just get the little pastry things and put lemon butter on. Pickle relish and zucchini. This is zucchini relish. This goes through those bat-sized zucchinis that like people will just give you, and it's amazing with tuna salad and everything. Apple butter always, plum jam always, apricot or persimmon or whatever else is around. Onion marmalade.
Hot fudge.
Hot fudge. But Christmas, there are relatives that will disown us if they don't get their hot fudge. But we do can the hot fudge.
Is that whole fruit and water or
That
something?
is, those are actually not mine. Those are Hunter, a friend gave me those, but they're cherries.
Are they, but do you have to put them in something
Syrup.
or? How-
Yes. If you do cherries, plums, or whatever, you do a hot syrup over them. That's
Sugary syrup.
yeah, it's a 2-to-1 syrup that you do to pour over them, and that's the sealing process. Yeah.
Anybody do salsa?
Good.
Recommendations? Thoughts?
I do actually. There's chili verde. That green thing there, that's chili verde sauce. So, because my tomatillas, when they explode, I do chili verde sauce. And again, this, the advantage of having a pantry like this is no inspiration for dinner. Frozen shrimp for Costco, chili verde sauce, cheap tortillas from the freezer. We're good. We got dinner.
Do you know if the process would work with fake sugar, like erythritol or xylitol?
Actually, I think I've read that it does not.
Okay.
Actually, there are lots of low sugar recipes. So you can do, like the Sure Gel will tell you full sugar and reduced sugar recipes are right on the.
And you have to
on
change
Sure
the
Gel.
ratios of other stuff or something?
I would not mess with it. Like if the Sure Gel recipe, they'll give you a low sugar option as one of the things. But you don't want to play with this stuff too much because there's some chemistry to this. And I don't understand it.
Is Sure Gel just gelatin?
Huh?
Powdered gelatin?
Sure Gel is pectin. It's
Oh.
powdered pectin.
Okay.
Yeah. And so for marmalade, I don't use it. I don't use it for the apple butter. The apple butter cooks for like 12 hours. We do the apple butter in crock pots. So we have 2 crock pots and we just keep them going like all fall long, the various process.
Okay, 2 more questions.
Apples have a lot of pectin in them already.
Apples and the marmalade, same issue. Yes.
Earlier you were saying that, you got interrupted, but you were saying that if there's mold on the top, you can choose whether or not to eat it, and there was an old man who said,
That he never did can anything, that they just would like stick their jam, in the pantry, and they never bothered to can it, and they would just take the mold and scrape it off and eat it.
Oh, that's
I mean,
what my mom does. That answers the question.
Yeah, she doesn't can it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, sugar is a preservative, and so that's why you don't want to preserve these without sugar because I mean, as much as you might be able to do it with honey if you're anti-sugar. You could possibly look at the honey. I mean, I don't know if that.
Honey will work as a preservative for sure.
Yeah, but then
Right.
you make
It
honey
will, you
make.
said?
You need
Yeah.
to find the right recipe though.
Yeah. So, but there is a chemical process to this where it'll say right on the sugar gel thing it says do not change what we've got going here, or if you do, live with the results.
As
you know?
beekeepers, one might ask why we don't do it with honey. but one could ask that.
Joe makes apples and oranges.
We got
It's a whole different protein.
over 60 jars of honey last week when we did the bees.
Right, I want to see your house.
Well, we hosted in May, and we were happy to host any time, but we live in Mountain View, which is a not popular place to come.
No, that's fine.
But yeah.
Next time's in Colorado.
60 jars of honey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.